Hey YouTube world, it's Kirkpatrick. Thanks for dropping in. I'm gonna put this old guitar down here. I'm gonna use my hands a little bit tonight to illustrate my story telling. Yeah. Oh yeah. Walker Farm fam. Yeah. Good folks. Tonight's story is a story, and it's also a prepping item, and something that I think a smart man ought to do. Anyhow, it's got to do with radio frequencies. I know the latest greatest fad this year. So everybody putting these little copper things in the gardens and seeing if the frequencies will help their plants grow. Yeah, it's always something, ain't it? Chickens pecking pumpkins. Oh, anyway, I better get off that subject. Yeah, so here's the story here. I first got in ham radio. It was way back yonder, and back in those days, there was no cell phones, okay? But people had portable phones at their house, you know. Before that, you had the phone. You was sitting on a nice little phone table. They didn't actually have a table yet. Sit down on your phone, and there's a book below it. I got a nice one down there. Yep, from the 50s. Anyhow, so then they came up with the portable phone. So the little base station sit on the phone table, and you could tote this little handheld receiver around the house and talk back to that little base station, which is hooked to the phone line. That's how that worked. And most of them, for the technical folks out there, they work on between 49 and 48 megahertz in that range, near the 6 meter band. 6 meter band is why there's no channel 1 on the original TV. That's another subject. Well, let's go into it. Educate y'all. If we can't educate each other and have fun, ain't no use doing this. But anyway, you had channel 2, 3, you had 2 through 13. Channel 1 was not there. Television is very wide band. And the reason there wasn't a channel 1 is because that was a 6 meter band that amateur radio operators had already been using, so they didn't do that. But yeah, channel 1 was a 56 meter band, they call it 50 megahertz. Anyway, so as them phones come out, and I'm a radio operator, and I used to spend 4 or 5 hours a night, and in the morning, lunchtime, listening to radio signals, talking, but mostly listening. And that's where this is a good prep for today. And I'll explain how to do all this in a later video. But so I'm listening, you know, and got a neighbor down the street there, and every now and then I pick up her phone calls. She worked for the Board of Education. Her husband was a concrete man, poured driveways, sidewalks, that kind of thing. And so as they moved in, they got to talking. I listened to all the neighbors, you know. As they moved in and got to talking, it was kind of weird. And the next thing I know, I figured out that she wants to divorce him. I hear this conversation one night between her and a girlfriend of hers. And she's going to divorce him. And it ended up that reason she was going to divorce him was he all he wanted to do was drink and bump, if you know what that means. And the girlfriend said, "Well, what's wrong with that?" Oh me. Anyway, I'm listening to this conversation, and they get, "Oh yeah, I understand, yeah." And I thought about, I know the guy, wave at him, stops every now and then, talk to me when I get mail or whatever. Tell me what's going on. The neighborhood was changing at the time. Yeah. We had our first couple of color moving to the neighborhood. Oh, shock. They're good folks. Wasn't nothing wrong. Anyway, you know how folks can be, busybody neighborhood, suburbs. Anyhow, I kept thinking, do I need to tell this guy? And then the next thing I know, a week or so later, I'm listening to phone conversation. And yeah, husband's going bass fishing Saturday morning. And she's going to meet him at the big fancy hotel in Macon, 30 miles away. And I'm like, oh, man. Oh. But do you tell the fella or not, Kind of bothered me. And I've grown up minding my own business. Some people ask me, what kind of business you doing? I said, minding my own. I usually shuts them up. So that's the attitude I took, and that's what I've done. And later on, them little handheld phones, they went to gigahertz. Didn't take as much power. And doesn't travel as long a distance either. Won't be cluttered up the frequencies. But I got all that equipment, and I listened to that too, and then it went 1 gig, 3 gig. Well, you know how your cell phones are. Yep, 2 gig, 3 gig, 4 gig, 5 gig. What's next, right? 10 gig. Daylight. Laser shoots across the sky when you key up your phone. Yeah, it's all there. That's what it is, frequencies. And it's out there to listen to. Now, I listen to them. I'm eavesdropping, spying on my neighbors. I know a lot about my neighbors, trust me. But, know how to keep it in check too. And it's okay to listen. It's okay to record. But it's not okay to publish it or rebroadcast it. That's a no-no. Now, if it came down to a murder or something, yeah, you can go testify what you heard on the radio, or you can turn in a tape as evidence. But you just can't go out there and besmirch. I would make some good video on TikTok, rebroadcasting this lady wanting to get hooked up with this guy in a motel in Macon. Shame. Old boy, he drank himself to death. He did. One that poured the concrete, her husband. And she ended up falling off a boat in the lake out here with no life jacket on, and didn't know how to swim. She sunk to the bottom. It was 3 days before he found her body. Now, I ain't saying she got what she deserved, but the Lord works in mysterious ways, don't he? Anyway, I'll give y'all another video about, if y'all are interested in it, If I get a lot of response, then I'll go deeper into eavesdropping. Yeah. I can hear cell phones. Yeah, I can. I can look at Ring doorbell of my neighbors. and see what he's seeing. They can do a lot of stuff. And it's fun. It ain't cheap, though. Anyhow, that's what the story had tonight there. The old portable phones. And when I first started realizing what kind of weirdos I got around. That's Bud over there. He about to snore away. All right, thanks for stopping by. God bless. Love every one of y'all. Ed Kirkpatrick. Shh. Best kept secret on YouTube. Adios.